This is cool. I just got this. Easily the most unique Google TV device to come out in years. And it's safe to say it's coming from a company you would least expect to be making this. I'm gonna unbox this for you and get a first-hand look at the 4K Pro streaming device. Tack it before you wreck it. What's up, geeks? I'm Kirk. This thing, brand new. Just got this in the mail about 30 minutes ago. Wanted to shoot a video for you because I'm really excited about this. I think it's interesting. The most unique Google TV device to come out in years, and it's not coming out from Google. This is coming from, of all companies, Walmart. I think it's safe to say that's the last company I would expect to be manufacturing the most unique Google TV device that we've seen yet. So it's under their Watch On brand, or is that Watch ONN? Not sure how they pronounce that. It's called the 4K Pro streaming device. And if you haven't seen this yet, what it essentially looks to be is a Google Home Mini speaker that also happens to double as a Google TV box. So it's got a HDMI port in the back, USB port, Ethernet port even. I can't wait to check this out. What a cool concept, because you can talk to it and play music through it and ask it questions just like a normal Google Home Mini. But in addition to that, you can ask it to show you programs or shows on your TV, all through this little speaker device. Again, coming to us from Walmart at a relatively cheap price point, 50 bucks. My full review is gonna be coming in a few days, but for now, I wanted to get this thing unboxed and give you guys a first-hand look at the new 4K Pro streaming device. Let's get this over to the table and get this unboxed.
So here it is, the new Watch ONN 4K Pro streaming device in the box from Walmart. And you can see on the front of the box, you've got the name of the product, you've got all the icons of some of the apps you can run on the Google TV platform, the Hey Google logo, Chromecast built in, of course, Dolby Vision Atmos, which is nice to see that, and the HDMI logo for whatever reason. Not much on the sides. Let's flip it over onto the back, and you've got some of the features here. UHD resolution streaming, Dolby Atmos, fast Wi-Fi, the Find My Remote feature, which is kind of cool, a button you push to find your remote. I like that. And it talks about how you use the Hey Google feature to control your TV, which I can't wait to test out. That is so cool. And discover more than 800 free live TV channels, 700,000 plus movies, blah, blah, blah. You've got some of the specs here talking about the GPU and the CPU that they use, the quad-core CPU, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, which is pretty generous, Wi-Fi 6, and then over here you've got what's inside the box, the device, the controller, the HDMI cable, the AC adapter, and a quick start guide. So, without further ado, let's just open up the box and see for ourselves what's inside the box. And there it is. Right on top, we've got our quick start guide. So let's grab that and see what exactly that entails. So you've got a little bit of a breakdown of what's included inside the box, so you can check and make sure that everything was included. Some safety information there. You've got a breakdown of all the different buttons on the device itself. Again, that Find My Remote button on the front, which is kind of cool. And here's the remote control. This is, I think, nice. A lot of people excited about this customizable Google button, the star button. That's been rumored for years. This is the first time we've actually seen anybody use it. And then you've got more on how to position it. This is interesting. Recommended 12 inches away. It says don't put it right underneath your TV. Don't put it, of course, in an enclosed cabinet. You can put it in an open cabinet, but 12 inches away from other devices. Interesting to see that. And then basically just some information on how to power it up, how to plug it in, how to hook it up to your TV. If you're a geek like me, you do not need these very, very, very basic instructions, but that's your quick startup guide that you'd expect. Let's see what's inside the box beyond that. So here's the device. Here's the actual 4K device. We'll check that out in just a second. But let me manhandle this cardboard and see what else is in here. Okay, so first we've got the AC adapter. And, I thought this was interesting. They don't use USB-C for power. They actually use a barrel connector, an old school kind of AC adapter plug. I don't know why that is. It's nice that the AC adapter is included. Oftentimes with USB-C, they don't even include the power wart, the wall wart, if you will. Here's your HDMI cable, about the most generic HDMI cable you could ever get. But again, nice that they include this in the box. So you've got an extra HDMI cable to hook this up if you need it. And then here is the remote. We'll get to that in a second. A couple of batteries here. This whole cardboard thing is conflicting me. All right, so I got the batteries now. I got a hold of these batteries, and they are your very normal, cheap... Oh, come on, pick them up. Here we go. All right, very normal, cheap, foreign AAA batteries that'll, last you for a little bit to start off using this remote. And here's the remote itself. It looks a lot like the previous ONN streaming device remotes. You've got your 4 buttons, specific buttons that can't be reprogrammed to certain services. Volume up, volume down, channel up, channel down. You've got your mute button, home button. You've got your back button. This is a live TV guide button, which we've seen before. Here's your D-pad, your up, down, left, right, and select. And then you've got a profile button. You've got your Google Assistant button for talking. You've got your settings button, power button, and the star button, which is kind of cool. You can customize that to what you want. Let me show you side by side. I want to grab one of the previous remotes from the previous ONN streaming devices and show you. It is exactly the same remote, a few minor tweaks, obviously a different color wave here. The Google Assistant button has a different logo on it. That star button used to be an exit button of sorts. And then what else do we have? One of the streaming services button. HBO Max is now Paramount Plus, but essentially the same thing because the streaming services combined. But anyhow, basically the same remote, a couple of reconfigurations, but hardware-wise, exactly the same. All right, so here it is. This is the 4K streaming box, and you can see this plastic paper around the outside. Again, warning you to place this 12 inches away from other devices, which is interesting, and not in a closed cabinet. A couple of easy directions on there. And then pointing out all the ports, the DC in, the USB 3 connection, the HDMI, the Ethernet, and the reset button. So let's take the wrapper off. Oh, the Find My Remote button, which is so cool to have that on the front. You push the button, it beeps the remote. Thank you for including this. Every Android TV device, by the way, should have that feature. I'm sorry, it should just exist because we lose these things constantly. Pulling it out, and here it is. Look at that. It's got that cloth feel on the front. It's like a googly feel, right? Is that an adjective? Like all the other Google devices, that cloth, it looks pretty good. I don't know. I'm pretty impressed out of the box. The Find My Remote button on the front. So on the side, we've got a microphone on-off, which is one of the standard features on any of these Google smart devices. We'll always have these this thing. There's your Find My Remote button. Again, thank you. Include that. Everyone, always. It's so important to have that. Here's the back. We've got a reset button. We've got an Ethernet port, HDMI, a USB 3 for adding storage, and then your power port on the end there. Ethernet's huge. If you're doing 4K streaming, you may want it hardwired, and so it's so smart for them to include that. The DC plug is interesting, that they didn't use a USB-C. Maybe it needs more power. I don't know. This is the bottom. It's got kind of a rubber feel on the bottom, so it stays put when you set it on that cabinet, and otherwise, just kind of the normal specs on the bottom of the device there. But again, on the front, this Find My Remote button is huge. What is that? What is that? I'm going to try to clean that off for a second here. Factory fuzz. I think it was just factory fuzz. You have to lint roll your Google device. Isn't that weird? But here it is. Here it is, the first look at the 4K Pro streaming device from ONN, the Walmart brand. And initially I'm saying this, and I think it's going to hold true. The most unique and interesting Google TV device to come out in at least a couple of years. And this thing's coming from Walmart on their ONN brand. It looks good. Can't wait to get this thing hooked up and test it out on the TV.
So what do you guys think? Throw those comments below. I read every single comment. I respond to everybody who comments on my videos. And I really want to know what you guys want to know in my full review of the 4K Pro streaming device. What should I be testing on this? What are your questions about it? Are you thinking about buying this new device from Walmart? So make sure you subscribe so you catch that new video, that review video when it comes out in a couple of days. And of course, I always have new geeky unboxings and just geeky stuff. If you're a geek like me, this channel is for you. Make sure you subscribe. Tech it before you wreck it. I'm Kirk.